Let's get back to our conversation with BlackRock CEO Larry Fink. We promised a quick discussion on the global economy. It's better here, I guess we can sum it up mostly.
It's a lot better here.
Except China, maybe. But there's.
I mean, China grew at 6.2%. Right. So let's be clear. I mean, it is slow, but we're all envious of that type of growth. I do believe the trend in China continues to be downward. We're hearing from CEOs that more and more supply chains are moving out of China right now. People are not waiting. Companies are not waiting to see what the outcome is.
So what does that do to China in terms of the trade negotiations? What kind of pressure it puts on them?
I think China long-term knows they have to find ways to stimulate more of their domestic economy. Our economy and most European economies have 70% of their GDP from domestic and 30% exports. China's flipped. It's 70% export, 30% domestic. So they know if they're going to continue to grow, it's going to be domestic. And so the fundamental problems of China, why we believe it's just not growing as fast, is they have a huge retirement problem there.
Larry, has your view on cryptos changed at all? 2 years ago, I think you called Bitcoin an index of money laundering. Do you remember that?
I do.
Now, okay, so
another broad statement.
So now we have Libra.
Yeah.
We've also got Bitcoin. Yesterday, I got into a little discussion with Treasury Secretary Mnuchin about the cash, or the instrument of choice for money laundering, and it's always been cash, my friend. I mean, Pablo Escobar and the pallets going to Iran, and take your pick. I mean, if you're going to launder money, it's been cash up to this point. So, I mean, Bitcoin is probably...
Or jewels.
Yeah, okay, but Bitcoin's probably, for total money laundering, it's probably 0.0005. So why pick on Bitcoin for the money laundering when it's obviously it hasn't been used up to... Al Capone never had any Bitcoin.
So I assume you're also talking about Libra then, too.
No, I don't want to... Libra, I don't even think is a cryptocurrency.
I don't either. That's what I was going to say.
And I don't think it has any inherent value.
Decided it's a debit card.
And I don't want it centrally... I mean, and Mark Zuckerberg's involved, and everybody gets to keep the float all the...
Let's talk about the concept, though.
Yeah.
Forget about who's created it and what it's trying to do.
Yeah.
You know, I was in Europe this past week. I had to buy a new briefcase because mine broke actually there.
When I was carrying cash to launder,
all jewels.
Yeah,
no.
All right.
When I was going to sign the receipt or the electronic thing, they'd asked me, "Do I want to pay in euro or dollar?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Okay, dollar." Then I looked at it. I'm still being charged at 3%.
Terrible.
Okay. So, and when you think about all the people who send money. You know, they may work in one country, send money back home. They generally do that through organizations that charge 5 to 10%. Yeah. There is a need, whether it's a Libra or something else, to democratize the exchange of foreign currencies. Today, with computers and electronic market,
there shouldn't be that.
It should be 10 basis points, 5 basis points.
That
it's not percent. And so I actually believe the idea around Libra, I don't think we need to create a new currency, but the technology to instantaneous calibrate all the currencies, that should be done.
Who gets squished by that? Who are the middlemen who are making money on that?
The banks.
You know, we're making, as the Bitcoiners would say, that's progress. For you, at least to get to the point where you're saying that about Libra. No, you're still not saying that about Bitcoin.
I think Bitcoin has
blockchain.
Bitcoin
well, I don't know if Libra is blockchain. They haven't decided. It might do that.
It has to be some form of that.
It's just ledger.
I mean, right, but it's a basket of fiat currencies. It's like,
but you don't
the
need
crypto
that.
is just keeping track of it.
But there's no inherent value.
But you don't need that. If you had this mechanism in every transaction, you could minimize the transaction cost.
That's the whole idea, right, Larry?
That's what the whole idea is.
I know.
And that's what I loved about it. Yeah. I don't believe we need a international currency like that. There's no need. But there is a huge need to bring down the fees of the interchange.
Need or not, it's here. And
so the banks have not wanted to eat their own, to cannibalize themselves.
This is a big cannibalization.
But when you see pressure like Libra, do they all get on board pretty quickly and say, okay, wait a second, I'm not going to lose my market share?
Or there's going to be some mechanism of doing what I said, the calibration of currencies that's going between that can just, I mean, you don't need a Libra. You have computers that can monetize and calibrate euro to dollar instantaneous for a couple of basis points, or yen and all that.
Next time, come for the full hour.
You're evolving.
I got to go talk to my shareholders
today.
now.
We
You're
appreciate
evolving.
that. It's great to
I
see
see
you.
you're an evolution here. You're evolving and making progress. Thank you.
I'm not a Neanderthal anymore?
No, not as much.
Okay.
As gauged by Joe Kernan.
You're Cro-Magnon.
Oh, good. Okay.